right, here's a fun one. So I'm a big fan. There's two goalies that I'm a really big fan of. Three goalies that I'm a really big fan of. One, Adam Gittleman. Number two, Tim Troutner. Number three, not in any order, is Dillon Ward. And so Dillon Ward is a Canadian goalie, field goalie, um, world team MVP at one point. I can't remember which one, but um, also box lacrosse goalie. Yeah, and as a Canadian, I can pretty much guarantee that when he was young, he played a lot of ball hockey, where you're just out in the street, playing or on the ice, on a pond, and you hop in the cage, and there's basically some hockey technique that creeps into playing uh, playing the game, and so and what happens for hockey goalies is hockey goalies understand cutting down angles. They understand getting big in the cage. They understand, no problem, Ireland. Thank you. They understand uh, basically making themselves as big as possible in certain situations so that they get hit by the puck or the shot goes wide or the shooter decides not to shoot at all. Um, you know, because what you start to realize is that you're realizing that the shot is from so close that your chance of getting something to it is really low. But one of the things that Dillon Ward does really well is something that I've been teaching goalies for a really long time. And the adaptation or the adoption of these ideas is so slow because field lacrosse is full of such crappy culture. And it's this idea that your stick is really not only is it like you're trying to stop every ball with your stick, but a lot of goalies use it as like a protective mechanism, meaning that they wouldn't take a shot like without the stick. And so one of the things that I do with my goalies is I'll get them in the cage without their stick and say, "All right, we're going to huck balls at you. Let's go." And if you feel underprotected, well, guess what? You got to make some changes, right? You got to make some changes. And so the clip that I pulled up today, which I think you guys are really I don't know. I don't know if I'm still here or not. Can you guys see me okay? Yeah, it looks like I'm still good. I seem to be all frozen here. No, just that is frozen. Okay, hang tight, guys. That's better. Did I lose everybody or can you hear me okay? That's a shame. There, I'm back. Okay. I just had to close a whole bunch of pages. So, yeah, if Alex, if that's you, I apologize. I'm closing programs. Hey, Mikey, thank you, sir. That's weird. That's never happened before. And I just got a new 4 terabyte drive to clean off my desktop, so I'm not sure why that happened. All right, so I'll start over a little bit. I'll start over. Um, okay, so just to recap, so a couple of my favorite goalies: Adam Gittleman, Tim Troutner, and Dillon Ward. And one of the things about Dillon Ward that that I really love is one, he's Canadian, and so the thing about Dillon Ward is that when you grow up in Canada, you're probably playing some ball hockey. He's also a box goalie. I'm not sure if he was a hockey goalie at some point, but I wouldn't assume if he. I would not be surprised if he wasn't. Hey there, Paul. I see you guys. Okay, cool. Um, so the idea here is that what I teach for lacrosse goalies is for field lacrosse goalies is basically it's like a hybrid of when you understand other goalies. So I was a soccer goalie, I was an ice hockey goalie, I was a field lacrosse goalie, and sometimes I would go from a hockey game to a field lacrosse game back to a hockey game or vice versa, and I really got a chance to understand the protection of an ice hockey goalie, cutting down angles, knowing the net's the same width. It's shorter, but it's the same width. But so it lends itself to playing a certain way. And what Dillon Ward does in this particular clip is uh, is an example of what I fully believe in is where, you got to understand that there's times when the ball is too fast or from too close that you can't get your stick to it. So then what do? Well, you got to get something else to it. Okay. So in this clip, I'm going to do my best to see if I can't kind of scroll through this. So the ball is here, ball side right. Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about this defender here. So the goal scorer is right here. Schreiber, number 26, is right there. But the first shot is going to come from here. And what you'll notice is Dillon Ward comes right out to the top of the crease. Okay. Pretty much the top of the crease. Okay. A little lag here as we go here. There we go. So as this play develops, okay, as this play develops, Dillon Ward is going to keep coming out, right? So he comes out and he comes out again, right? Now here, he takes a little bit of a jab step at this, but what happens here, what you don't see from this angle, is that if you run a triangle, if you run some lines from basically where this ball is being shot, okay, where this ball is being shot to, the near post and then the far post, is that you're going to get a triangle, you're going to get a wedge, right? You're going to just going to get a wedge. And the idea here is that as you move out in that wedge, you take up more space. Okay. That's just math. Like that's just geometry. So what it does, what most people fear is they think like, well, I don't have as much time to react to the ball. True, but in what format? Like does that mean like you just can't get your stick to the ball? But what happens is when you start to unleash like your whole body as a tool with which to make saves, then you start to incorporate all sorts of other stuff. So right here, I'm going to try to. It's going to be depending on the resolution of your screen. Um, okay, so there's the ball. Or if you guys can see it, the ball's right here. It's right there. Okay. Now, as we go forward, all right, what Dillon Ward is able to do here is he knows most likely this shot is going to go to his far side. Okay. So that's going to be to his left. Right now, he's a righty goalie. So what he does is he comes forward. Now, I don't like teaching stepping to the ball, but what happens in a situation like this where this angle is so tight is that throwing a foot forward actually makes that foot really big, right? So if my hand comes to the camera, right, that hand gets big and it covers all the space. So that's what he's doing here. But so he's throwing a leg into that space, right? So this is just you're just throwing what you can into the space where you think that ball's going to go. But what you may be able to see here is that this ball, let me just reduce my FPS some more. All right, is that hold on, like it's all right. That ball is going to hit him right here. Okay, right above his left elbow. I know that's small, but can you guys see that okay? All right, that's where that ball just hit right now. So this is where if you stand back in the cage because you're afraid of getting hit with the ball, that's basically what this is. Okay. And what I do is like, I'm not going to throw a young kid in the cage and say, I expect you to throw your naked elbow in front of this ball. We're going to do 100 of them. They're going to last like 5 shots and then cry and go, Coach Edwards sucks. I'm never do that again. But really, you miss being world class and making this save, right? So as an adult, as an adult who's gotten shot a lot and he's played, in this culture of field lacrosse, I've even heard interviews with him. He's like, I don't know why we don't wear more gear in field lacrosse. That answer really bugs me because it just shows me a goalie who's still stuck in a culture and less about using protection as a tool. Okay. Protection as a tool. So he's going to get this ball right off his left shoulder there. And he makes this save because he's out there, right? Because he's big in front of the ball, not that he's actually thrown his elbow in front of this ball, because if anything, it looks like he's kind of shrunk a little bit, but it's tagged him, right? Or maybe in the kind of the millisecond where he's reacting here, he can see that this ball is coming and he's going to absorb it like right there. He's going to absorb it right there, right? So, it is what it is. But then what's interesting here is this ball bounces down, and it's got so much spin on it that it's going to bounce back out. Now, I'll talk about this defender when I'm done, because I think it's important to kind of point this out too. So here comes the ball. Here comes the ball. It's going to bounce right there, right? And then it's going to come forward, and Schreiber's going to pick it up. Okay. Right. And so Dillon Ward's like left foot is outside the crease. And I love that. I love it. I love it because you know, he's just made this is a total like ball hockey move. Okay. He's come out, he's at the top of the crease. You can even there's actually a clip of him in another video. I gotta find it. He's like outside the crease. He gets scored on that particular play because he's not, in my opinion, he's not set up correctly, like angle wise, but we'll get to that another play. So ball pops out, Schreiber gets it, but in this like very quick, bang bang play, um, Ward recovers. Schreiber's going to pick this ball up with his right hand, and Dillon Ward again, he's going to stay right there. He's going to be as big as he can, and he is going to. Schreiber goes basically around the world here, throws it behind the back. And again, because of where Dillon Ward is, now he's not fully out and he's not fully back, right? And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. Come on. You can see the ball here. The ball glances right off his shoulder, okay? And goes in the cage, which is unfortunate. So what I wanted to point out here, though, is that if Dillon Ward was able to be just like a baby step forward, this ball probably bounces over the crossbar, maybe, or catches of his enough of his shoulder that it bounces in front of him. Who knows? So I'm more concerned about the initial play here, because this first save happens because he's at the top of the crease, right? And then Schreiber comes in, gets really lucky here, and swings it behind the back, and he almost makes it again. But this is where I talk about being world class. And to be world class, you need thousands of repetitions to make a save. Now, Dillon Ward is a world class goalie. He's probably, when you look at the PLL stats, I think he was like 5th or 6th overall as a goalie in save percentage. But when you look at like the fact that the Chaos gave up like, I don't know, 60 more shots than the Water Dogs did. I think if you take Dillon Ward and you put him in, because there's a lot of saves that Blaze Reardon doesn't make that I think Dillon Ward would make in those same situations. So, but what I just wanted to show this here, because I believe that this is one of the better examples of a goalie using more of their body, getting the chance to get hit with the ball. But again, your goalie is you're not going to be able to practice this very easily, because your goalie's not protected enough, right? Especially in the shoulders and upper arm. Okay. But the idea there is like, well, if we get our goalie, especially in practice, protected to be able to just use more of their body to make the saves, we're going to make more saves come game day. Right. And then when we make more saves come game day, well, guess what? We're going to have a better chance to win. Right. And that's what this is all about. So I just love this clip. I know it's the angle's a little tough, but the idea is that it's a great it's a great play. Oh, here's another view of it. All right, let me just do this. Forgot about that. All right, just rewind this a little bit. Yeah, so here you go. So here's this first shot. It comes real quick off this edit right here. So right here, he's already made the save, but look at him. He's like standing on top of the goal line or on top of the crease line, right? And then this is just an unlucky bounce. The interesting thing about this bounce is if this bounce goes 6 inches in any other direction, this second shot doesn't happen. But he's still, able to be big and get a piece of it. And that's a beautiful shot from Schreiber. Let me talk real quick about the problem on the defense here. Okay, so So defense are taught. So this is where goalie communication is really important. So the defender's right here, and the ball is over here. This defender, you watch him hesitate for like a half second, like not even a half second. So right here, he hesitates right here. So he lets his momentum go a little bit too far, and then right here, he just kind of stops, and then Schreiber moves, and right there, this defender is hosed. And now the defender he pauses even more right here. He's like, "Oh, you've got to play." So if I'm a defender and I see a shot has happened, so and I'm not the slide, um, as soon as I see the shot, I am turning to my goalie, right? I'm turning to my goalie and I'm ready, or I'm just glued to my attackman. Especially in this situation because we're close enough to the ball where you can kind of obstruct this attackman here and not a problem. But right there, that defenseman just gets hosed and in it goes, right? So it's a little unfortunate, but it's little details matter. Okay, so that's that. All right, all right. So sorry about that glitch there, but I hope that makes sense. So pad up your goalie, have them play at the top of the box, take shots from outside, but have your goalie keep coming out further and further at the shooter to get used to that. Like and because if your goalie is not willing to absorb shots with their body, they're not a goalie. Okay. This especially goes out to the girls who are like wearing booty shorts and they got a lot of legs showing. Listen, man, okay, we're gonna take like shots from inside 6 yards. They're all gonna be like knee high. How are you gonna make that save? Right? Are you ready to take like 100 balls off the inside of your knee and limp home? No, no. Not only is that, it's funny. It's not even bad coaching because it's not. It's like we need to practice how to make that save. It's you, the goalie. Are you prepared to make that save and be world class at that save, or are you hoping that it doesn't hit you, or are you hoping you can get your stick to it? And are you just saying like, if I can't get my stick to it, well then, oh, I wasn't supposed to get it anyway. That's wrong. That's totally wrong. Okay, that's totally wrong. Okay, so yeah, yeah, I can't say it enough. Right. It's really, 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 really important. All right, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for listening wherever you are. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you like this and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When you're ready, head on over to lacrossegoalieuniversity.com/coaching so I can work with you and your goalie. And while you're at it, check out athletespecific.com to learn more about mental performance and high performance. You may not know this, but I work with athletes in a variety of sports. Lacrosse is my love, but man, I love athletes and the families who support them. So head on over to athletespecific.com, check it out. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.